This is the Gleaner's Corporate Coffee Mornings, and I'm talking to Orlando Robinson, who's curator at the Hope Zoo. And Orlando, I know that to maintain the animals in the lifestyle to which they're accustomed,
I'm telling you,
you need money and lots of it.
And lots of it.
No, to a certain extent, there are some events
Yes.
that people can attend, and with Easter coming up,
Yes.
there is one such.
Right.
What are you having on, I think it's Easter Sunday or the one before?
It's the 5th.
Sunday, April 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's actually the second year running. We had it last year, and it was pretty well received.
Right.
So what we're trying to do really is we're trying to develop a calendar of events for
Yes.
the zoo, basically. And certainly Easter excitement, as you know, it did reasonably well last year. We're hoping again for this year. It's really geared at the younger kids.
Because it's called
Excitement.
EGG,
Yes,
excitement.
Easter excitement.
With, I guess you have Easter egg hunts.
Easter egg hunts and treasure hunts and
And there's
games
lots
with-
of places to hide
Yeah,
things.
lots of places, and feeding of the budgies, we're having rides, games, etc. So it's a fun thing for the kids. I mean, the parents are going to come along as well. This year, I think we're strongly considering something a little bit more for the adults so that they don't twiddle their thumbs too much while the kids are having so much fun.
Is that something that you can share at this point?
I think it's probably still being tweaked a little bit, but certainly we're looking at something that's more in terms of just having a little
So
parents' corner.
adults can now come in and
feel that they're not
be
left out
occupied
too much. Yeah. So we're
Yes.
certainly looking at that this year, because last year we kind of saw that while the kids were out having a ball and on the bounce boat and the rock climbers, etc.
And it's from 1 in the afternoon,
1 in the
till
afternoon
6.
to 6.
And
it's a daytime event.
It's pretty reasonable.
Yes,
For
12
that length of time.
$1,200
It's $1,200 if you buy
pre-sold.
your tickets before, and $1,500 if you come to the gate to get it.
Yeah.
And I see some hashtag information here. Hashtag Hope Zoo Egg Site or hashtag Hope Zoo. And you can also
contact us directly.
Call at 927-1085.
The event coordinator is Kim James, so you can always call and ask for her, and she can give a lot more information. But certainly, this is just one of many events that we're trying to, as I say, put on to become signature events for the zoo. We mentioned earlier about the corporate line, which is a every Friday event that happens roughly about 7 onwards. It varies when you want to go home, kind of thing.
Right.
Just space to come, good music, listen, eat food, be with your friends, chit chat. So it's a downtime really after work live basically.
So what about groups now? How do groups come into the zoo? What days can they come?
Well, I mean, the zoo is open pretty much every day, 365, even Christmas Day.
What's the largest group that you can handle at any one time?
Well, that's probably something that is a very interesting question. We've had groups, we've had schools come there, we're talking maybe 300 kids.
Wow.
The only thing that we ask, if you are coming with very large groups, is for you to call ahead so we'll be better able to organize.
Prepare.
Exactly.
And you have your tour.
If you do want to, we can provide tour guides, and we can also provide petting zoos as well. But those are at extra
people do
costs.
roam at their own.
There is what we call a self-tour. If you come with a large group and you perhaps don't want to have that service, then you're welcome to go on your own and go through the zoo. There are maps there that would guide you as to where you want to go. But if you're coming in a large group and you want to perhaps have a greater experience, especially if you're a school teacher who wants to perhaps teach a particular lesson on that day that may be focusing on a particular type of animal or something like that, then we can certainly have guided tours to take you on. That is an additional cost of $2,000 for a group of 30. So it's geared towards school groups. And also for the petting zoo, that's $4,500. And that is far more hands-on in terms of you coming, having interactions with animals like the snakes. And it's just for us, for you to really get more involved, see what animals are like, and get rid of any fears that some people may have.
Yes. Is access to the zoo free to anyone, any particular group in the society?
As it stands right now, well, mainly for the armed forces. I mean, they're allowed to come in and do their regular patrols.
Right.
We do offer, but it's more on a request basis. If you in a situation where you can't afford entry and you want to write, asking for special permission, then it certainly can be considered. We've done so for children's homes, for example.
Right.
We've allowed a lot of free entries, for example, for them. Sometimes for some schools that simply can't afford it, they've genuinely said they can't, but they'd love to have the experience. So
Right.
it's really on a case-by-case scenario.
You look at the needs, the
we look at the
merits of
need, and
each
because,
case.
as we said, as a zoo, we are there to serve the public, and we want people to come and enjoy this space. So we don't want to be exclusive in that respect. We also offer group discounts
Right.
for large groups. If you're over 25, you qualify for such a discount. So you can always call and ask about those details. So we're trying to, as best as possible, be flexible and understand that we want this zoo to be embraced by everybody and for everybody to have an experience, because it really is developing quite nicely. And I'm not saying that because I'm there and I'm being biased, but it's really coming along. We've come a long way.
Yes.
And we do have a big vision in terms of a master plan that guides us in terms of where we want to go. So we're nowhere near there yet.
Are you
so
are
long way to
you
go.
planning to get any other animals soon? I know that it's a huge expense.
It's a huge cost.
And maintaining and feeding and so on is expensive. But what else do you
We
have
are.
plans
We are.
for?
I think
Let's say for this year.
I think I can say this. But we've engaged with the South African High Commission.
That's right. I remember
yes,
when the mayor
when they
was
paid a
here.
visit to and that sparked that discussion.
Yes.
So they've actually connected us with a zoo with Pretoria Zoo in South Africa.
Right.
My directors actually made a visit already to that zoo, and we're now engaged them in terms of seeing if we can get some animals, and we're looking at some nice things like maybe giraffe and
The big five, you know, Africa is famous for its big five.
Well, elephants are probably a little bit further down the road for us, but certainly we're looking at things like giraffes and hyenas and wildebeests. We're keeping our fingers crossed. I mean, it's early days in terms of the discussion, but they're very interested in a partnership with us. So it looks very promising in that respect.
So we can safely say that Hope Zoo has made a comeback.
Definitely.
And that the future looks bright.
It does. And as the public, they can make it even brighter by becoming a part of it. And not just through dollars and cents, people. I mean, it's also in your time if you want to come and volunteer at the zoo. And we welcome people to come and be a part of it.
How does one become a curator?
Well, for me, it really was I mean, a first degree is certainly something you need for you as your background, your basics. Zoology is essentially working with animals, so you need to fully understand what is involved in terms of the biology of animals and how they operate, how they function. So you need that base.
Yes.
And a lot of it really goes towards management skills, because you are dealing with people.
Yes, you
because
are
you have a staff
managing the resources.
managing the resources, managing the collection, managing data. We work a lot with conservation, so we interact a lot with other zoos, other colleagues. So a lot of interpersonal skills have to be brought into this. So it's really quite, people may not think so because they think we only talk to the animals, but it's far more cross-cutting in that sense. Education,
how do
dealing
we
with kids.
compare? How does Hope Zoo compare to other zoos in the Caribbean?
No, I think that we're doing pretty well. I mean, in terms of Trinidad Zoo is also on a similar path with us. They're also developing. They're getting new animals. They're also expanding.
That's in Trinidad. Okay.
Yeah, in Trinidad, Emperor Valley Zoo. The Dominican
Republic.
Exactly. They have a very large zoo. I haven't been there in years, but I know they had a more open type zoo, more of a savanna type you could go through, like in jitneys, etc. But the others, the smaller islands, and so they're not really. They're not.
So we're in pretty good shape.
And I think certainly based on how we're looking now in terms of the infrastructure and the collection and the training that we're now trying to orchestrate with other zoos, that we're really going to compete with a lot of first world zoos in a short time.
Excellent.
Definitely. As a small zoo. I mean, we're not going to come here with a San Diego zoo.
I know.
But
San
certainly,
Diego is fantastic.
as a small zoo, I think, just look on the face of the zoo. I mean, we're
getting there.
Yeah, I mean, we've had foreigners come here and say, I've been to a lot of zoos, but I just love how your zoo looks.
Yes, nice.
Yeah. So that's very encouraging.
Excellent. Thank you, Orlando.
Thank you for having me.
This has been the Gleaner's Corporate Coffee Mornings, and my guest was Orlando Robinson, and he is curator at the Hope Zoo, where exciting things, or should I say, egg-citing things are happening.